the truth.
I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, Mr. Government, what's the date? It's June 4th. It's a Thursday, trash day here at the Price House, 2026. Well, anyway, yeah, I don't know. The goings-on of the day. By the way, we have had 2 days in a row here in Wichita at about 2 o'clock-ish. A shaft of rain has entered into the southern part of Wichita, and literally you can see the edge of the rain, just this column of rain coming down, and it has been breathtaking. Now, that being said, I had just happened to have been away from the house for about 20 minutes, and I had to come getting back to the house because the chickens were drowning, metaphorically, not literally, with 12 or 11 baby chickens were in the grass and in a caged area there so they can get nature and all that good stuff. Well, it was literally blue skies above my head, and I saw it off in the distance. I'm like, that's just a little bit of, and that thing developed so fast. I got back, I had wet chickens. So anyway, no big deal. They're all doing great. They got the red light on them. They're getting their red light heat therapy. By the way, guys, you understand how red light works, right? We all understand this is blue light that lights my face bright white like this. And that's the only way you get to bright white is hyper blue. Anyway, the red light, actually what it does, the red light wavelength actually goes into the mitochondria and actually starts spinning the harmonics inside of your mitochondria in every part of your body, and that's why you start feeling that warmth. You start warming yourself from inside the same way that when you oxidize wood or burn wood, you release the sun's energy, the infrared, all the different wavelengths of the sun's energy that the tree soaked up, leaving behind the minerals, the ash. As you sit next to the fire, you're actually healing your body. Hey, Philip Martin. What's up, buddy? Phillippy. But as you release the wood's energy that is infrared into the body, that's why a campfire and a friend is always the answer no matter what. If you want to solve the world's problems, sit around a campfire with friends and you'll see how things start changing. And really a lot of the things you thought were so damn important, you're really just kind of like, woo. Yeah, it's amazing what it does. So Brenda, good to see you as well. So anyway, yeah, so the downpour came in. The chickies are in the garage with the red light going. So the red light is warming their little feathers, their little tubules that they have, the little shafts that the sun or the lights will actually. This is, guys, you know that's about feathers, right? That they're all hollow, and this is one of the reasons that there's a lot. But anyway, as the light hits that, there's a part of it where it talks about how the light goes into the shaft of the feather and goes right down in, and it's like almost like a sun collector for them. And if you've ever watched chickens in a chicken yard or any amount of time, you have seen them melt in the sun. And what I mean by melting is they literally just be there and they'll kind of sit down and they'll just lay like their wing will go out straight and their foot will kick out. And they're literally just finding that radiation moment right where that sun is just getting them the best, and they fan their feathers way out, and they look like they have been shot by a sniper. I mean, it's like, "Bacow!" Like they're just a dead. But anyway, I call it that they melt. The chickens melt in the sun. It's really funny, and the turkeys do it too. So I know it's not just a chicken thing or in my yard thing, because, well, unless all the poultry in my property has a melting effect. I know it's actually everywhere. But anyway, so as the sun hits them, they'll do this little stretch, and they'll look like and then they'll just lay their head down. They're just like, and you're like, what the, like, you dead? Like, oh, okay, all right, you're alive. So that is a thing, guys. That is absolutely a thing. But those the wings of a bird, if you guys actually were able to see a bird in the way that the frequency actually hits the wing, how it actually Birds are like the most beautiful kaleidoscope. Remember those tubes that you spun and had the little stones in the end with the refractive glass, the kaleidoscope? Birds look like that. And that's how if you actually understand how chickens see the world, they see the world like they're on LSD. They think that they see all these glints of light and everything is just like, oh, my God, oh, yeah, look at that, look at that, look at that. And they're just this hyper. Well, that's because of the visual. For them, all these sharp edges of the grass and the flowers, they all have these little glints to it, like you got a bad eyes. Your eyes are dry at night. You're trying to get home. Whatever that meant, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just kind of going off on chicken sight here all of a sudden, so that's what we do. But anyway, we're talking about light and red light therapy. But the red light therapy, guys, if you can get fluorescent red light, that is the bee's knees. That is the absolute bestest everest. So if you want to look into that, that's a whole thing. But yeah, the tube infrared is really just off the charts for what you can do. Now, there are LEDs that have amazing wavelengths and have amazing stuff. Sun LED, they have helmets and panels and all kinds of stuff. The guys over there are great people. I've sold quite a bit of their equipment to different people who felt like they had certain health needs that the red light therapy would help, and these are very intense. People with certain amount of dementia, certain amount of autism, certain amount of certain learning disabilities are seeing huge increases in function just by using red light therapy. No other medications, no other anything, just literally just putting the red light. So that's a big deal if we actually go into that process. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. So that was the drama about an hour or so ago. The baby chickens, like I can't. This is the Murphy's Law, right? You know, make sure you bring the chickens in, cause it's gonna. If it rains, just be ready. You know. Yeah. Don't jinx me, bro. Don't do that. Hey, don't you do it. I'm gonna be back in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Do you know what took me so long? Because people were driving slow because the rain was so intense. I could have been home in the 10 minutes, but it took me an extra 10 minutes to go the 2 miles back to the house. I was literally 2 miles away. 2 miles. And these people are like, oh, what is this water thing on my windshield? I'm like, would you drive? I got drowned in chickens. So anyway. But that all worked out. So, good stuff. And so let's get on to the show. That's enough about the homestead, the animal husbandry, a moment of things. There's a lot of things going on right now, and I don't know if I really do hold back with you guys, but I want you guys to just stop for a minute and appreciate what has happened in the last 14-ish months. Now, good, bad, or indifferent, you could go back 4 years, okay? And we were in the middle of still trying to figure out if we could breathe without a napkin on our face. We were still having people talk about, let's kick you out of this country. Let's deport you. Let's put you in a concentration camp. Let's put you in cages. Let's charge you with murder. See, we were in that guys, listen, 4 years ago. Hello. 4 years. This is where, I wish that we were kidding about it, right? But 4 years ago, I had people who were making $7 an hour trying to tell me what a medical authority they have over my body. And these are the same people who tell me I have no medical authority over their body if they want to take something out of their uterus. Are we all getting the math here? Where we're at 4 years ago and where we are 14 months later? Can we all appreciate, by the way, I am looking forward to going back to D.C. And as of right now, I'm still planning on going to July 4th of 2050 celebration. I do not know in what capacity right now. There may be something for me to do while I'm out there. I may have to maybe MC or stand in, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I would like to probably take just an extra day to walk and go and see hey, by the way, they're filling in the Lincoln Memorial, or the reflecting pool right in front of the Lincoln Memorial. And when I was there, it was a trash heap, dude. Unbelievable cesspool. I'm like, this is what we do? We're trillions of dollars in debt, and we can't even bother to like throw some bleach in this thing, or some little acid of this or that. So anyway, I am looking forward to that. That is an opportunity that's been forwarded to me. I am waiting on some other details, and I am very excited about those opportunities. As far as I know, those things are all on. Hey, by the way, things get canceled. So that's how it works. Remember last time I went out there for the inauguration, and the press pool was canceled maybe the last hour. And so that happened to me while I was out there, and that's what happens. That's what happens sometimes when you're trying to go remote, you're trying to do different things. But do you want me to tell you something that is so coinkydink I can't even begin to understand? I don't even understand this, guys. Listen, remember yesterday I talked about maybe taking my Starlink with me so I'd have like a remote access. I could do live this and that's at the different events. Well, I got off the show with Dave Scarlett yesterday. And I got off there, and I was going through my emails, and literally there was an email from Starlink saying, would you like to add on, because I upgraded, and I upgraded like 3 weeks ago, because you upgraded, which the upgrade doesn't go in until tomorrow, the 4th, today. Oh, is it going today? Oh, I got to check that out. Anyway. So because it was like today would be the day it went active. Oh, it does go today, doesn't it? June 4th. Okay. All right, I gotta get that all worked out. Anyway, so I went to the hyperspeed, and by the way, I had to wait for that for access. But because I had that access starting, my program started, they offered me the mobile mini. And so I have a mobile mini for no additional charge being sent to me right now. So I don't know if you guys want to call it coinkydink. You want to call it a message, you want to call it whatever, but maybe we need to figure out how to get some donations running this way so we can get that Starlink active where I can be live filming and be there, and you guys can be all a part of that. You can see what's going on. How about that? So anyway, guys, let's think about the cost of getting out there and doing those things, but that would be awesome. If I got that Starlink, I'm going to be able to stream live without having to have access to any of the networks there. So if I am live going through a satellite feed, I'm not going through their wired technology. I think I'm winning. I don't know, guys. It sounds like a great idea that I might be able to get that done. So, but that's I thought it was kind of a coinkydink. That exactly when I was talking about that yesterday, that looks like it's going to be a possibility. There might be some other stuff for me to do. Starlink says, hey, by the way, here's a mobile mini for you to walk around the earth with. I like it. All right, so let's get on today's episode of... Now, this is... Okay, guys, I told you guys to go watch Rubio stuff. I said go over there, check it out, go look at what he's got going on. Rubio was doing some things. He was holding his ground. He was doing a good job, this and that. And so I was like, yeah, go watch his stuff. Well... my boy Scott was on the stand, and I will tell you right now, I'm doing two things at once. I'm trying to hold my hand like I'm manipulating the screen, which I actually am. If I put my hand down here, you wouldn't see me doing it. Anyway, Scott, I don't Bessent, right? It's Bessent. Anyway, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary. That's why I named today's episode Treasury, because Scott is doing what Scott does well, which is just literally make these people just so small. He's not using a lot of words. He is like the most efficient word person I think I got out there. Like, he is just like, all right, you told me I can have 12, I'll do it in 3. And he just nails it, right? I'm like, wow, this guy's good. But anyway, Scott was out there. He had to testify. There's some Congress people that didn't do so well, and I don't know, I just like him for what he does. If he's right or wrong, I really have not checked all the way into some of the stuff, but what I do see about him and how he carries himself and the authenticity that I do see with him, I do see a difference. He's not a yes man, And I will tell you, I would really fair to say that most of the people that I do see around Trump now, that none of them are yes men. Now, they may or not be doing what they need to be doing, but they're not people that are bending the knee. And I see Scott as one of those people, like, if Trump even tried to even, like, Scott, we've known each other a long time. And I don't know how to do Trump's voice. It's like, I was trying to do it the other day, and I thought I was getting it, but it doesn't sound good. He's like, hey, Scott, let's do a thing, man. I, quid pro quo. Scott would be so offended just by the idea that he was being asked. Not even that he would do it, but it would just be offended that he was asked to do the offense, right? I just believe that he's that way. But hey, egg on my face if he's got me fooled, guys. But I've been pretty accurate on some of these people. Well, except for Mike Pompeo, he got me. Unless he turns the leaf or somehow has showed us that he was doing what he was doing because he was gassing people out of the woods, I don't know. But I don't know. I'm still out on him. I wish I had better information, and I have not gotten any better information than what I have basically concluded myself. But I did campaign with him back in 2016. So, all right. So let's get to Scott here. But let's see what Scott has to say. He's good. He's good. Watch this.
Recently, President Trump proudly claimed that he doesn't think about Americans' financial situation when it comes to the war with Iran. So I want to ask you, Secretary Bessent, do you agree with President Trump that you also do not care about Americans' financial situations?
Congresswoman, who was the president during World War I?
Can you,
No,
are you refusing to answer my question?
No, I'm asking, who was the president during World War I?
I don't know, but clearly you are not answering my question.
So you don't know who the president during World War I was. Well, let me tell you.
So I'm clearly getting the idea that you do not want to answer whether you agree with President Trump that you do not care about Americans' financial situations.
President Trump does care about Americans' financial situation.
Well, he actually said that he doesn't.
No, that is a truncated thing, like everything is, that he is future-proofing, because I can tell you Americans' financial situations would be devastated if Iran got a nuclear weapon and there was a permanent shutdown of the flow of energy out of the Middle East.
Well, then let me ask you, was your prediction...
I promise you that
I'm taking my time back.
I will promise you that President Woodrow Wilson, who was president during World War I, the Germans did not attack us. That he got into that. It was
well, you're not answering the question, so let me ask this.
And I guarantee
was your prediction that Americans would face only 50 days of temporary...
Well, I guess when this is part of the problem here is that when you have to talk over the person you're trying to get answers out of, you're not really looking for answers, right? You're trying to get a little bitty clips here or there. You're trying to get some talking points. But what I do like about Scott is he's trying to educate as well as answer the question, which is way above and beyond what he has to do. I mean, he's like, hey, listen, who was that guy in World War I? Well, I don't know. And it's like, well, instead of being curious and actually trying to open up and trying to learn, it's all about shutting him down, right? Well, you obviously don't want to answer the question. But what he was trying to get to is that he was educating her on the patterns in which other presidents have dealt with things and have not dealt with it, where things have gotten out of control and then it had to be brought back into control. And guys, we're talking about, listen, this is not like a 20, 30-year-old thing. I'm 55. I knew about this whole Iran thing back when I was a kid. I understood the implications of things because, of course, the news told me so, right? But again, we also let people go over there and die and bleed for our country. But yet, what have we got out of 50, 60, 70 years of that Middle East, us trying to, what, get the One World Bank in there? See, that's the question you have to ask yourself is like, what are we really doing? But I do understand what happened, and I will say, if this goes the way that I do expect it to, guys, listen to me. If you only anticipate the evil, the worst, the ugliest, you're going to probably get a version of that. And so I'm looking over here and saying, you know what? Listen, I bet you that this is going to be the most revolutionary time without a revolution in a way that set the people free to where they could take back control of their own destiny in a way that they used to back in the 50s and 60s and 70s when Iran was a place to vacation. People wanted to vacation there because the people, the culture, the things that they could experience, but oh no. When we worry about religions of things, that's what happened to that country. And that is the sad sack of the whole thing, is the religion took over. And when Allah says, and the military and the government says yes, well then the sheikh, the sheikh, whatever the Ayatollah guy was, whoever he was, he got to say, oh, Allah told me. And then everybody's got to do what Allah told me. That's really what was going on, guys. That's why they had like tyranny going. Oh, it seemed very, but it wasn't. So anyway, I'm paraphrasing using broad brushes. I know nothing about Middle East history or any of the infrastructures of how governments work. I am completely making all that up, so just don't even listen to what I just said. But I will tell you, it seems like I've heard that somewhere before, and those facts that I just gave you are nothing I made up, but it sounds like this is a pattern. But if the people were free, and they were able to be what they used to be, when women were actually, they were beautiful. I mean, golly, guys, go back and look at like Persian women in the 50s. Be like, man, boy, I missed that era. I missed that by a little bit. I mean, golly, guys. Now, I'm not saying that's like, oh, that's my thing, but I'm just saying these people they were beautiful people. And the culture and all that stuff goes over there. And here's the thing, it's so layered deep behind those hidden facts. It's all behind there because the religion's masked over the top of it, as if it's always been the burqa-wearing society that everybody thinks it is, and it's not. So anyway, going back to the idea that we all want to do the masks, isn't that kind of what we're trying to do to the ladies there? But then there's a lot of stuff that's coming out about the Bibles of people and the different things, the Quran and all the other stuff. So guys, let's all take a deep breath and understand that there's going to be some changes happening, and you got to figure out where you want to be. But you can't be too radical on some of the stuff. If you get too hardline, you get too this or that, you can get yourself caught, and it's hard to forgive yourself. So just when some of this stuff starts coming out, the more of it will come out. I know it will, but I do have a great idea that there is going to be an Iran that will go back to names of old. So I don't see it as being Iran going into the future. That was us, guys. That was Eisenhower. There's a lot that we screwed up after World War II, and I say we as in us, U.S., but also that was the Axis thing, the Germany thing, Germany saying, oh, we lost, but they really won, and then the banks and all that stuff, and who really held the debt, and that's when we had, guys, it was just the recycle of bankruptcy of these countries over and over again. How many times has America been bankrupt since 1871? Since we went into true debt in 1871, how many times? I think it's been 12 or 15 times we've gone into bankruptcy, and nobody talks about it. So again, guys, we can go bankrupt. We can screw things up, and we have been doing a really good job of it lately. And I don't know what wind is behind ourselves other than we are just delusional. But at the end of the day, guys, we have to believe that what's going to happen in Iran is going to be great and beneficial, because if it only gets about halfway there, at least it's halfway to great and beneficial, not halfway to shit and shinola, right? So let's do better about that. Let's make sure our mindset is going where we need it. We need it to be this great, so it comes in about half of that or a third of that. Great expectations. I always expected things to be better, and I always wanted them to be better. That's a thing. That's probably some childhood crap or whatever. But the idea is that, why don't we want things to be successful? Why do we thrive to look towards the negative? I believe we're only feeding into a system that is truly taking the feet off of us. I do think the fear and all that crap feeds the wood chipper that's grinding our feet off. And we're like, wow, this really hurts. Well, stop feeding into that system. Stop feeding into a thing that is actually hurting you. And I think that's where we got to get better about what we're thinking about what it's going to look like. So I want things to be the golden age, and I want us to have that big reset, and I want us to all feel better about our future and not have to be the, oh, well, oh, it's going to get better, right? It's cool. Oh, we just missed it. No, I want things to be better. And I want us to have that reset. I want us to be that republic that we all could be. And I don't want us to have that personal responsibility that says, hey, we can do this without having government at all. And the government just paves the streets and keeps a few lights on here and there, but they're not in our business. They're not telling us what clothes to wear, what jumpsuit color wear today. No, they're barely, we forget about them so much. But see, the problem is we did forget, and then they got out of hand. See, we thought they were doing a good job, but now we're finally here. We're coming back. We're like, oh, okay, we got to do better. And we can save the republic, but it takes effort. And I think the positive effect of this, the outlook, you look out here positively, you're going to at least be somewhere positive. If you're not shooting for 1,000, how will you ever get to 100? Right? So anyway, let's listen to Scott here. I like his demeanor. I think he's great, but I don't know why. But it's just because I think he is a big, big key to what our future holds and the value of our country. And I think he's got secrets, and that's why he just plays his hands like he's got every ace in the factory. Like there's no aces anywhere except for he's got all of them in the factory. There's not even one in any deck anywhere. He's got them all. I just feel like there's a thing there, but this is me again. I'm shooting for the extra, right? And I think Scott's going to be that. We'll see what's going on here. Let's see what he's got here.
Also found that a DOJ staffer sent an unencrypted file containing USAID payment information and individuals' names to external DOJ personnel at the General Services Administration. Soon after, it was reported no disciplinary action was taken, despite the employee's failure to protect federal and non-federal employees' sensitive personal data and comply with security requirements. So again, Mr. Secretary, when employees who violate IT security rules are not held accountable,
He's going to get her.
what does that message send to agents? Why don't you hold someone accountable?
Why are you bringing up USAID with me?
Because a DOJ
Why?
staffer, GAO found that a
What
DOJ
does that
had
have to do
payment
with me?
information. Payment information.
USAID, I do not oversee. I wear many hats in this administration, not one.
And this is a file containing payment information. Are you not in charge also of the Treasury?
That has USAID. That has nothing to do with us.
But payment information has nothing to do with it.
Again, it was not sourced at the Treasury. Why are you bringing this up with me?
So
Congresswoman?
GAO provided 6 recommendations to address identified weaknesses, including ensuring staff agree to comply with IT.
I guess that was the end of that. I thought it was going to go on for a little longer. I just like him. I think he does a great job on that stuff. But you see how it's what Rubio had to do yesterday as well, is that he's like, listen, I'm the secretary. I don't get political. I don't go to, and they're like, but no, you're like the second in charge. You're the, and you're like, he's like, no, I am a diplomat and I do these things, but I don't do that. And I'm not in charge of this. Like, why are you having these questions? And I thought we were here for, and so the education that I do believe that somewhere in this idea that these guys are trying to really get them back to what is my job? And let's keep that focus. That seems to be a rhythm there, but Scott does a great job keeping these guys on their heels. He knows what he needs to do. He knows he's very good at just like having the greatest answer, but they don't let him finish. And I've heard him talk out these things, and he does put together very well. I wish that he had more screen time, but he's not a screen time guy. He only does it when he has to, and it's been fun to be able to see him really kind of branch out a little bit. We got a couple more here with him. And okay, that one's there, and then this one's here. Okay, here we go. I appreciate what he does, and I can tell when he's loading up. It's just about his face or something, his demeanor, and he's like, ugh, he's like, I could just see him getting ready. He's like, oh, this is guy. He's like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So, all right, here we go. This is Scott again.
Are you in favor of eliminating the gas tax?
We have moved to.
Are you in favor of
we-
eliminating
we-
the gas tax?
We would like to work
Are you able to answer that, or is that not
Well, if I'm not
answerable either?
interrupted, I can, Congressman.
Well, I'm waiting
we,
for your answer.
We have asked Congress to move to eliminate the gas tax. That is done through statute.
You have moved that. So you're in favor of eliminating the gas tax.
We have asked for that.
So we can join bipartisanly today because
Yes.
you're in favor to eliminate
Yes.
the gas tax.
Yes.
Again, the White House has asked for it, sir.
Yes.
They have?
Yes.
Why isn't it before the committee? for
I
a
know.
vote?
What do you tell me, bro?
I don't run the agenda.
Oh, you. Oh.
Well, it's good to hear that we're in favor of something that we can work on bipartisanly that will help relieve people
Yeah. Really?
who need it the most. Forgive me, but people in my district aren't doing cartwheels over this economy.
Oh, well, I don't know what to tell you, partner. It seems like everything is, I mean, I will tell you, yes, gas is, we're down, 15, from the highest, we're down about 20 cents already. And in the last week or so, since Memorial Day, it's dropped off almost 15 cents. So gas around here is dropping off pretty fast. But remember, guys, they drove that crap up overnight, boy. They didn't mind, but now they're trickling it back, and it'll take some time because God forbid, you know. So that's how it works. We'll play the game, and we'll all take it, you know. Woo, good job, boys and girls. Oh, by the way, so this the Senate. The Senate defeats an amendment that was going to ban Trump from weaponizing the weaponization fund. And this is a thing where this weaponization fund, I don't understand. We have paid out hundreds of millions of dollars, if not more, behind the scenes for legislators and all this other stuff for sexual harassment, you know, wrongful termination, whatever, right? Whatever the excuse was, they got paid out. They left government or still in government. You know, they have a permanent job because we had to, you know, pay them off and give them a job for life. But when you see that what the weaponization fund was trying to do, I think it really does expose kind of the, like, what, and honestly, listen, we're giving money to transgender seahorse study or something or whatever it was. There's some weird, I mean, we got all this money flowing out into weird stuff, and these are awarded grants. And the idea that we can all kind of admit some of that stuff, let's just go with, hey, January 6th was kind of just, it shouldn't have happened, things got out of control. But the amount of prosecution to the point where people committed suicide, people have lost fortunes, people have lost relationships. It has been devastating for some, and others. I mean, yeah, the others have benefited. They've sold a book or whatever it is. But there's a vast majority of them. I have contact with a lot of them, and they are not doing well because of that stigma that is still on their record. It is a federal thing. And I know what that's like to feel that way. And your life, you can't do what you used to do, and you're not that person, but that's where they over-prosecuted. That's when they went too far. Just like what they did with me. They went too far. They were trying to prove a point. They were trying to make sure I couldn't come back. They were trying to stomp out the weed that I was. 2 no-knock raids, that's what they do, right? They just got to keep coming back. Oh, now it's a 2-time offender. It's like, how do you guys have the perfect timing? And yet, it's like magic, right? But then we find out what's really going on behind the scenes. Guys, the idea that I know what it's like to feel that is not that it's the idea that, you know, I'm just saying this is a real thing. I've talked to these people personally. I have been to the jail there in D.C. where a lot of them were held. It is not cool what happened. And this is very normalized. Like, if you talk to people in jail, what was happening was a little extreme, but not that big a deal to the January 6ers. So this weaponized fund that, I guess maybe I should have said January 6th earlier, but the weaponization fund, this whole thing, the idea there are people out there saying, you know what, nah, Let's not worry about that. We went a little too hard, this or that. Guys, listen, that somewhere in our hearts, we got to figure this out. We got to stop. I mean, we got to stop doing too much. Over-prosecuting, that's an accepted behavior and within attorney generals and prosecutors. And that when we know that on the street, we know that they do that personally on the street. That's not a hidden practice. That's like, oh, the 5 to 10 over the speed limit when you're driving. That's, oh, there's a 5 to 10 rule, you know. Oh, if it's 50, you can probably go 55 or 60, you know. But again, we know that they over-prosecute hoping that they get the parking ticket. But see, if we knew that they were being honest about it and we all could figure out what would be suitable, which is basically what that's supposed to happen. It's supposed to be equitable for both. It's not really supposed to just tear a life apart. But anyway, to say that I just feel like it brings a lot of people out. I think it shows a lot of who they are, where they are in their hearts. And it's like, literally, guys, you can see that there's some things we went a little too much on. Just saying. We can all admit that. I mean, I'm not saying what happened was cool, because I was not on that part of the building. I was on the other side with the paid actors who were security guards. I wrote a Gateway Pundit article a few years back about that. I had my photos published in the Gateway and the Gulag as well. But yeah, I was there, but I had everybody look up these different names that I had pictures of the badges and stuff, and none of these people were part of the Capitol Police. So when Trump talks about, you know, the whole central casting of it, I would say I saw a lot of that. Be honest with you. I saw people in military uniforms that their blousing and their uniform dress and how they looked and how they were marching was completely irregular. You know, I was a Marine ROTC in high school, did my time in the Air Force, and then I was in a defense contractor for almost 20 years, and I could tell you, even the sloppiest of military, these guys looked like they had literally, these were like pajamas they were wearing. And but I just, the whole place made me feel very uncomfortable, and it's sad to say that I've met so many people that were there, and they said, yeah, they just told us to come on in. They were, you know, and so we were just going in, you know, following the butt in front of us, you know, it wasn't a big deal. You know, and then the idea that it's like, and again, this is where people get confused. It's like, this is where we don't quite understand. Are we saying that we have access to our government or we don't? And then it's like, okay, well now because we scared you because this or that, or wait. But the sad part of it is that they could have postponed and not make it a thing, and the people would have felt like they had something that they pushed back enough to get them to stop. And all they had to do was say, hey, we're going to send everything back for a recount, and we'll come back in 7 days or whatever it was. So many ways for that to play out, but here's the problem. Now we know that there were 300 to 600 paid federal employees, 300 to 600, and maybe more confident informants, people that were paid actors on top of that. So there could be almost, 10% of the crowd was paid federal employees and stuff, and they're doing, now we're seeing that these people are on the payroll. So again, why is this weaponization thing a big deal? Well, because what it does is it admits guilt and admits that we got it wrong. And a lot of people don't like doing that. And that's a sad, sad part of human. The human. That is really where we're at on this, isn't it? What we got here? Kelly's Wolf is here. Hey, Kelly, haven't seen you in a while. Central Casting was formed in 1925. Central Casting was before Hollywood. Central Casting was purchased in 2018 from a company that is owned by TMG, Trump Media Group. Wow, from a company that is owned by. So it was purchased. Central Casting was purchased from a company. So Trump owned Central Casting? Hollywood. Central Casting was purchased in 2018 from a company that is owned Trump Media Company. I got to hear more about that, Kelly Wolf. What are you doing over here teasing me? God dang, what's up? All right, so Philip is over here killing it. I got Marlene in the house. Terrence William is here. Good jobs, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Anyway, my ramblings. All right, so we'll continue on here. But, guys, listen, listen, guys. We should really take it seriously that if we were willing to be honest about law enforcement not getting it right, and that it's like, oh, only once in a while there's a blue moon, we get a case and this and that. Can we just say that in the moment there are decisions that are made on both sides that are not the best, but yet the trained professional who's supposed to have the woo-saw moment, that whole I'm in here on, I'm a better person thing. But we know things happen. But see, the problem is that when they can't be honest, then they want us to be honest, and then there is a divide there. And our government doesn't do a good job enough of admitting their wrongs. They're too busy trying to show us how wrong we are. But in reality, they should be showing us how wrong they are. They should be telling us. They're our servants. And why is it that I feel like this is something I have to, learn you? Teach you? Learn you? I think learn you. I have to learn you, boy. Get over here. Anyway, so if we could do better, I think we could do better, guys. I really do. This weaponization fund, we know the government doesn't get it right, but if they could be authentic and say, listen, this is where we're getting it wrong. And this is where we're trying, we're testing for different human beings than we're testing for now to be police officers or to be sheriffs or whatever. I mean, the sad part of it is that I don't look around at a lot of these, it used to be the troopers and all those guys. Used to be guys who are like, man, whoo, look at that guy. Now it's just like, well, hey, trooper, you're me. You're not. So anyway, a lot of that stuff, I feel like somewhere that the dignity of it is when you have that ability to confess what you've done and say, hey, here's where I screwed up, man, you're going to get so much more trust. You're going to get so much more responsibility from both sides. But when we're paying you guys and then we don't feel that reciprocation, I'm like, golly, guys, that's not a hard math. It's not hard. And I think this has a lot to do with what's going on right now. All right, so Arizona Attorney General shot down by Arizona Supreme Court in lawfare case against the 2020 Trump electors. Plans to seek new grand jury indictment. So, guys, if you guys remember, okay, I don't know if I have that clip. Maybe it's probably from yesterday, but listen. So the 2020 election, I think there's an article on that. But Arizona, guys, I ran into people, and I just happened to be there when some pivotal things were going down, and it was very, very interesting to be in Arizona, and the amount of people that were willing to do some really crazy stuff in Arizona, I was like, wow. And they weren't hiding it. They were out and out bet. That's anyway, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if this has been public or not. What year is it? 26? Can I talk about it yet? I don't know. Maybe I've said this before, but I was told that there was a truck that left. I've told you guys this before. Yeah, there was a truckload of ballots that left Arizona and went to Alabama, that 200 or 300,000 that came in late. I mean, that's how bad it is. And see, here's a sad part again. It's like Kansas here. Arizona was the Republican stronghold, the Goldwater standard. Oh, we're always the deep blue, we're this, And at Kansas, everybody's like, oh, you're so Republican. Are we? No, we're not. Anyway. But yeah, I think there's been some fraud. But here's the thing. I do believe the cartel is fully involved down there. There was information that's been leaked out and been pushed out here and there, but it's also been very suppressed about, different people being affected by that, all the way up to people in the big house up there, not the prison, but the, well, I guess the Capitol building is a prison of sorts. But Arizona has got some dirt on their hands, some dirty fingernails, at least. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to come of all that, but there is some crazy going on, but this is part of that, where if you paid attention to their actions after that, you realized where they were all of a sudden they were doing the co-conspirator thing. They were doing RICO stuff, all this different things. And the new attorney general came in, and she's been really trying to gin some stuff up, and it's failed every time, but she's still trying. And the sad part of it is every time everybody's like, hey, this lady, stop doing that. And she doesn't stop. So I don't know. I think Arizona's going to be a big part of what's getting ready to come out, some other things. But this one here, I want to talk about this one for a second. Let me see if I have the video, and I'll let him tell you the story himself. Oh, what? I do have a video. All right, here we go. Let's see. Oh, I got to tune him up a little bit. Let's hear it from the guy himself. I gotta get you the guy. I'm the guy, but he's the guy. Here he is. All right.
There's a lot of problems inside.
Look, we had a rigged election. We can't have a rigged election.
No.
You know, we can be nice about it. We can be politically correct. Oh, I don't want to say. I used to say that a year and a half ago. The election was rigged, and the cameras would literally turn off.
Yeah.
And the anchor would say, sir, you're not allowed to say that, you know. Now nobody ever turns off the camera because it's been proven to be rigged. Look at what happened in Georgia. Look at all the stuff that we found out. It was a rigged election. Biden lost in a landslide.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, to think that this could happen. Now, because of that, we have Russia, Ukraine. That would have never happened with me. Because of that, we had open border with 25 million, in many cases, criminal, not all.
And fentanyl deaths.
Everything.
Yeah.
He was a worse president. And we were laughed at all over the world as a country. We're not laughed at anymore. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
So
we have
how
the most
do we,
successful country anywhere.
So someone has to be punished, though, for that. So how do you do that?
Well, I don't
have
want
to
get
punish
into
them
it.
all.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather not get into it, but
are you confident if something will happen?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Get this.
The election was rigged.
Yes, it was.
We know who rigged the election. We know it. We know everything now. You know, we have information that nobody thought was possible, but when you get to office, all of a sudden people start giving you things. You know, it was a great, I'll tell you, 2024 was a great election.
He set him
up. There's a lot of rigging going on there too. Because you know what? I wanted a landslide, but there were areas that were just rigged. I could see it.
So
rigged. In other words, rigged against me.
Yeah, of course.
So the crazy part of it is, guys, is that when he's talking about these things, I mean, I experienced it in 2016. I saw it in 2018. I saw it in 2020. I saw it in 22. And I even saw it in 24. And if anything, you know, we can call coinkydinks this and that, but if you remember, in the very first month of his presidency, he signed an executive order saying that he wanted a task force to find out how the elections are being rigged or stolen. And that executive order, as far as I know, is still active. No one's quashed it, nothing. So as long as they, quote-unquote, stay active, they haven't been overridden by anybody else or Congress, they stay in. Like, that's kind of the point of what they get to do. But anyway, I just wonder, you know, maybe Mike Pompeo comes out shining like, oh, hey, Jim, I was just doing a job, man. Sorry, CIA, you know, cool stuff. You know, then I kind of go, oh, okay. But at the same time, I don't know on him, but this whole thing seems like a longer play that we all haven't figured out yet. I did see that the tariffs have absolutely benefited America. We are now have a lot of open borders and things that we can do across this world that we never had before until now, because they were basically doing like 100 times tariffs. Basically, it was impossible to bring it in because if it was a $1 candy bar, it's $1,000 to get it in the country. Like, that's stupid. So I mean, guys, literally, there were things like that. Very specific items were that way. They had very high, like, taking cheese north was like 1,000% or something like that, like tariff to sell like Wisconsin cheese into Canada. It's like they had that, but they were protecting their own, right? But what it was doing, though, was that there was a market that wasn't getting anything. Like they could fill in, right? But no, they weren't given the opportunity. So that's all changed. I mean, that sounds crazy, but cheese, right? But, there's people who, they make cheese for a living. I don't. I've thought about making cheese. I don't know why I would really want to, but anyway, sounds like a lot of work. But I appreciate cheese now that I've gotten older. Anyway, so all right. So that was Trump talking about the 2020 thing. And listen, I do want to loop back a little bit. I want to go back into the McAfee virus guy, that whole, there's a lot of things that make so much sense to where we are now. And I want things to be right. I want things to work out. And I'm hoping against hope. I just, come on, whatever you're supposed to wish for in that moment, let's just make it happen. And I think we are very close. I think the birth of our country is a big deal. I think this 250 thing is a big deal. I think some more of this stuff is it's fun. There's some stuff in here we can have fun with. We can have a celebration. But what if all the conspiracy theorists are right about the reset? Because they've been right about a lot of things, right? So let's, so what if we get the reset? What happens then? Do we figure out how to have gratitude? Do we make it worse? Do we make it better? Do we reset our currency back to a gold standard so we then all understand what the value of our dollar really is instead of being ground down like so much shredded cheese at Olive Garden every single day, just grinding a little bit of you away all the time? Because that's what interest and inflation and deflation. So you have inflation of cost of goods, deflation of currency. You want to know why it seems like you can't buy as much? Well, because, our currency is worth less because we keep printing so much. But then again, everybody keeps buying it, so we keep saying, okay, well, everybody likes it. Let's just keep feeding it. It's a very crazy system out there. So anyway, it's a way that we live, but we can do better for ourselves. I think Scott is going to be a lot of a part of what's going forward. There seems to be some very cool things in the works with him. I hope that he continues to be the guy that we need him to be. I will always be watching because I am very entertained by what he's doing so far. Not entertained in a clownish way, but in an intellectual way. I really do like listening to him, and he's pretty good, man. You ought to go watch his stuff. I like catching him live. It's really good. I think he does a good job. I hate listening to the people's question. I would just rather listen to just his answers. I could tell you exactly what their question was by his answer because he will go back and educate the question and come out with something better at the end. All right, guys, well, that's going to be about it for me. I'm going to get out of here. Remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, the less to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast. Do not give up. Do not give in. We'll win. I promise. I promise I can't keep. Guys, you've always been the answer out there. Remember the Constitution? Well, that limits the government, but never limits you. You've always been the answer, right? All right, guys, we live in a constitutional representative republic. Remember that. Do not forget it because that is what helps us. We do vote in a democratic process. We are not a democracy. Democracy is elected leaderships. We are a republic. We have elected servants. Look it up. All right, guys, let me get out of here. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there. All right, wow. 2 in a row. All right, one more time. Here we go. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.